Hi guys, it's Charles here. Just climbing into ears to tell you that our God in Gaming episode has dropped on our Patreon page. I thought I'd leave you a little taster here, and if you'd like to hear more, just go over to patreon.com/the God in Film podcast, all one word, and subscribe to our Bishop Waller Bridge tier to hear the full episode. Here's a little clip of the episode for you. Hello and welcome to God in Film, the podcast where a Christian and an atheist dive into the best that cinema has to offer and see if we can find any parallels with the gospel or any other Bible stories. I'm filmmaker and gaming noob, Giles Goff, and sadly, Phil can't be with us today. He's currently rehearsing for his all-male production of Shirley Valentine. So instead, I have two very special co-hosts.
Hi, I'm RS teacher and princess in another castle, Natalie Minaker.
And hi, I'm CBT therapist and Lara Croft body double, Kat Bullock.
And for this very special episode, we'll be looking at the faith parallels in modern gaming. Now, full disclosure, I am not a gamer. My interest in gaming kind of ended around the time of Super Mario World and Street Fighter 2. So I picked two of the smartest gamers I could find to try and persuade me to play some games based on which of those games had the most intriguing faith parallels in them. Now, it should be said, I've written every single episode of this podcast up until now. This is the first one where I have done no substantial writing for it. So no pressure, but if this sucks, it's all on you, okay?
No pressure.
Totally fair. I'll take it.
Fantastic.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, before we get into the main section, should we talk about any honourable mentions? Any games that almost made it onto your list but didn't quite?
Shall I go first? I've got
Go
a few. Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2. They are literally stories about redemption and sacrifice. I did think about kind of including them, but didn't. There's The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Just really wanted to talk about that game just because I love it. A lot of religion in that, religious repression and religions not getting on with each other. It's all in a fantasy world, so not real world religions. And a game called Grim Fandango. I don't know if
Good shout.
you remember that. Good shout. Yeah, Grim Fandango. It's literally set in the afterlife, very much influenced by the Mexican Day of the Dead. Really good sort of late 90s point and click adventure, which I've never got bound to finishing, but I have started a few times.
Kat, do you have any?
I do. I have an honourable mention of Binding of Isaac. That tells a story of childhood abuse with a religious mum. Mum watches a lot of Christian broadcasts on TV. She hears a voice that says that her son has been corrupted. And she then goes to kind of take away all the evils of his room. The voice kind of says to her, well, that's not enough. You have to prove your devotion to me by sacrificing him. So she goes into his room, tries to kill him. He manages to escape because God intervenes and drops a Bible on her head and knocks her out cold.
Standard.
Yeah, standard stuff. But actually, this trauma then kind of makes himself kind of see himself as a demon, and he sees a shadow, and he's got this kind of underground layer under his bedroom, and that's kind of, it makes up the levels. And his weapons are like his tears. Wow. It's all very kind of shadowy figured, and then you kind of hear kind of musings of the arguments of destruction between the parents and her religion and her devotion. I guess you could very much, you could also include God of War and God of War Ragnarok. I guess it's not necessarily religion, but it is mythology, and it does follow a lot of kind of I guess themes around religion. A fun angle maybe is that Kratos, although he is the god of war, does he even meet the criteria of a god? He's got kind of Odin, who shouts that he doesn't have any believers, and are you really a god if no one believes in you? What's his actual status among the world, even though it's very profitable? That's kind of my honourable mentions.
Yeah, there's one more that it's a game called Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. And I mean, the clues in the title with that one, it's one of these games that's like an indie walking simulator. So essentially there's no combat or anything. You're just walking around interacting with the environment. And it's set in this English village when everyone seems to have vanished.
Sounds great. The one for me, I think, was fairly obvious. It was obviously Mario Kart. I think
massive biblical parallels.
Massive biblical parallels because... Yeah, because obviously, the entire point of the game is about racing, and St. Paul himself said in 2 Timothy 4:17, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. So in many ways, I feel it's quite obvious there.
Do you know what? When you are in first place in Mario Kart and you get blue shelled 2 seconds from the finish line, you do start questioning the existence of a higher being. It is a game that very much embodies the phrase, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
Do you know what? When I'm in first place in Mario Kart, that means that I'm looking at the wrong screen and somebody else. I'm the guy who's actually driving into the bumpers somewhere along the line. Hope you enjoyed that teaser, guys. Just a reminder that if you'd like to hear the full episode, just go over to patreon.com/God in Film Podcast and subscribe to our Bishop Waller-Bridge tier to hear this and our God in Music episode. Bye.